Breaking news. Hungary is sending signals that it wants to keep being atypical within the European Union. European capitals reacted with shock this week when they saw Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orbán seated next to Russian President Vladimir Putin at an economic forum in Beijing, China. Estonia's Prime Minister Kaja Kallas said to a Reuters reporter, "How can you shake a criminal's hand, who has waged the war of aggression, especially coming from a country that has a history like Hungary has?" The U.S. ambassador to Hungary took to X, formerly Twitter, to condemn Mr. Orbán as a leader who chooses to stand with a man whose forces are responsible for crimes against humanity. While Russia strikes Ukrainian civilians, Hungary pleads for business deals, said he. Russia's Vladimir Putin is wanted by the International Criminal Court over allegations that he illegally returned Ukrainian children to Russia after last year's invasion. Mr. Orbán's decision to meet the Russian president in person sent a strong message to the West, of which Hungary is a part, that Budapest wants nothing to do with the European Union's agreed policy toward Russia. After their meeting in Beijing, the Hungarian government released a brief statement saying that oil and gas deliveries as well as nuclear energy had been discussed between the two leaders. This statement explains why Mr. Orbán and his government have taken such a conciliatory approach to the Kremlin. About 80% of Hungary's natural gas comes from Russia through the Turkstream pipeline that runs through Turkey and onward through Bulgaria and Serbia to the country's northern regions. Hungary is the only country in Central and Eastern Europe to keep receiving the same amount of gas and oil from Russia as it did before World War II. Budapest has also sought to expand Hungary's lone nuclear power plant in accordance with a contract already in place with Rosatom, the Russian atomic agency. When compared to the other members of NATO, Hungary has the most unusual relationship with Russia. Mr. Orbán's government has called for a ceasefire and not armed Ukraine since the beginning of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, though it has sent humanitarian aid. Hungary has chosen to go against the grain of opinion on the war even within European Union institutions. In December, it temporarily blocked an EU aid package worth €18 billion for Ukraine. It was an overt effort to prevent the European Union from freezing Hungarian cohesion funds. According to the European Commission, Hungary's capital city of Budapest did not follow through on a number of anti-corruption measures or pass any new legislation to strengthen the independence of the country's judiciary. At a meeting of EU foreign ministers in Kyiv earlier this month, Hungary cast a veto against a €500 billion military aid package from the EU for Ukraine. Péter Szijjártó, foreign minister of Hungary, skipped the first meeting of its kind to be held outside of the bloc's borders. Mr. Szijjártó, on the other hand, sent his deputy to Kyiv. Mr. Szijjártó did manage to squeeze in a trip to Moscow last week, where he promised Russian athletes the full backing of his government as they prepare to compete in the 2020 Olympic Games in Paris. Hungary's foreign minister has paid Russia 5 visits to discuss energy deals since Moscow's invasion began in February 2022.